Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Farlands or Bust for your episode 601. 601 episodes of Farlands or Bust begins now as we continue walking to the Farlands in Minecraft Beta 173 with an inventory full of random blocks and cobblestone and gravel and sand and pork chops and beds and crafting tables and... Whoops, did I just throw something that I actually needed? No, I think we're good. We do need Wolfie, and we do need to continue walking west here for, like I said, episode 601. Wednesday, August 17th, 2016 is when this episode is being published. And we are avoiding falling into caves as well as raising money for Child's Play charity. We've got a little fundraiser going on over at farlandsorbust.com. Right there on the homepage, you will see the Child's Play charity widget and be able to donate. Trying to raise $60,000 for that cause this season, season 6 of the series. Currently at $38,755.39, 64% of the way there. 64% of the way indeed. What is this orangeness I see in the distance? Okay, it's fire. I'm like, what? This is a little bit early for the sunset. No. It's just a forest fire caused by some liquid hot magma. But yeah, farlandsorbust.com. Go check that out and donate if you can. Like I said, they help. Did I say? I might have said. I've said before, but they help get Child's Play charity does. Gets toys, books, games to kids in hospitals around the world. Around the world. Right, wolves? Guess not. Whoop, was that you? Yeah, that was probably you. Is that a Wolfie? What's the matter, you? Was that you? Ooh. Neat. Do we need... We can always use a little bit of extra wool. We don't have... Oh, yeah, we do. Could always use some extra wood as well. What was I gonna say? Oh, thank you, everybody, for your support and kind words, and I even got quite a few donations to Child's Play charity in honor of episode 600 of the series. Got a lot of good feedback from that, so I do appreciate that. We're not going to be doing a 6-day episode today. We're going to go back to the normal 3-day episodes, talking of the Minecraft days, that is. Trying to preserve some sanity and voice as well. Oh, careful, Wolfie. Oh, this is interesting. Ah, careful, Wolfie. All right, you know what this calls for? This is a good place to not push Wolfie off the edge. Let's just have you sit down. We're going to create an artificial waterfall. That's not exactly how I anticipated that going, but an artificial waterfall indeed. Woof, Wolfie likes it. Should look pretty cool from the outside, right? Trying to make it... Will that do anything? No, that'll make it look dumb. Alright, yep, we just made it look dumb. Good job, Kurt! Let's carefully grab Wolfie and take a little trip. Ha! Alright, that might hurt Wolfie. Maybe. Was it spawn down here? Yeah, just spawned. No, I got a little bit wet. And there we go. Whatever mobs or skeletons exist down there are now a little bit drowned upon. Alright, maybe not as fantastical as I'd hoped, but we did it, and we survived, and we're continuing on. Couple things happened while we were away in the vid game news world. No Man's Sky came out. No Man's Sky. Gotten a lot of messages, even leading up to it, wondering if I wanted to play that or whatever, and certainly it held interest. No Man's Sky came out on the PlayStation 4, and then we found a spawner. It came out on the PlayStation because way back when. Oh, this is bad. Way back when. Actually, it was after. I was a little bit surprised. It was after it was announced. Got a lot of hype and anticipation from the E3 trailer, And then Sony decided... Now, this is something I didn't realize, but in looking it up, I thought that, like, Sony... Hi! Whoa! How did I place that torch over there? I'm a ninja. Alright, let's check out... Let's actually break this thing. These take forever to break in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, don't they? Oh my goodness. There we go. What do we got? Oh. What do we got? Oh. I'll take the iron. Iron. That's about all we'll be collecting from these. Did I pick up something else weird? Oh. From these folks as we continue on. Yeah, they didn't buy Hello Games, who makes No Man's Sky. They just assisted with marketing, was I guess their arrangement. Because whenever I heard that news, I was like, oh, you know, it was always, I don't know, just being as somebody who enjoys indie games or whatever, they tend to remain a bit more indie gamey when they aren't bought out by large corporations. So that was a little bit disappointing. I heard when that happened, and I think, and basically the response once it came out on PC was mixed at best, and I think a vast majority of that is just silliness, just like the silliness, and by silliness I mean horrible and perpetuated and over-exaggerated cultural weirdness that goes on in the gaming world, but the similar stuff regarding when they had to push back the release date a couple times. But yeah, not a good response, and I think a lot of that is probably because Sony took over marketing and ended up marketing this indie game as like a AAA game, and also pricing this little indie game as a AAA console game, you know, right alongside your Call of Duties and your Assassin's Creeds or whatever, and that just it made a lot more people aware of it, sure, but a lot more people who probably are used to the Witchers and the Assassin's Creeds and you know, those sorts of AAA games, and they expected that, and when they didn't get that for their $60, none too pleased. I'm looking at it, and I am still planning on eventually playing it. I'm gonna wait for some updates to come out, and they've even been announcing that there's some updates that'll, this will make you happy or whatever. Stop being so angry. I'm trying to make you happy. So I'm waiting for some updates. I'm also interested if more and more people play, and as time goes on, will it be more likely that, say, in exploration, I will find somebody else's planet? I think that would be more interesting. To find somebody else's system that's already been named or found by this person. Chances are I'm never going to find any planets or things named by people I know, but I think that would just be a little bit more interesting. It's unfortunate that you don't see any of the effects of that person, that player, or anything like that. It's just in name only. But yeah, I mean, I kind of want to just treat it as one of my walking simulators. You know, it's a walking simulator that Tony? Who's Tony? That Sony wanted to. Tony works at Sony. Sony wanted basically marketed and advertised as not. And as you know, walking simulators are a very narrow niche indeed, aren't they? So yeah, when I do eventually end up playing it, and I will, and I do. I will kind of treat it as one of my walking simulator exploration adventure first-person games. I'll be looking forward to that, but I'm going to wait a little bit for some patches and things, but also hopefully maybe some of the universe will be a little bit more explored, and it'll increase our chances of finding other people's findings. I don't know. But yeah, we'll check that out eventually. But yeah, it is kind of just an unfortunate side effect. It's imagine if Notch made Minecraft, and instead of releasing incremental updates and pre-release updates and the indev and alphas and betas, you just saw like a trailer of it, and then like 2 years later Sony releases it for $60 in its, you know, version 1.0 form. I think people would have a very similar reaction. So that's why I feel like it's a little bit unfortunate when an indie game kind of takes on the non-indie game release thing. I feel like it would be a lot better regarded and accepted if they slowly released with features. Obviously, also with a game like that, you want to kind of release it with a lot of the features already built in. So I mean, I'm even thinking about like the way Kerbal Space Program was developed and released, and sure, it probably, and I can actually probably guarantee you that Kerbal Space Program hasn't made as much money as No Man's Sky has, but I believe it's created a much finer game that both the developers are happy with, as well as the people playing it. I think. I don't know. I'm no video game business tycoon. I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude, and I'm about to go to sleep. And No Man's Skyness, No Man's Waterness. Continuing on this. Speaking of big companies ruining things, other news, kind of obscure news, but other news. Microsoft recently acquired Beam.pro. For those of you who are unaware, and many people are unaware, Beam.pro is best described as a Twitch alternative. I wouldn't call it a Twitch competitor, simply because they do not have the market share to even be considered such a thing. But basically, yeah, Beam is kind of an independent... was an independent live streaming, gaming-centric live streaming platform. And you know, they give you a bunch of buzzwords that they're focused on the interactivity, and the people in the chat can affect the games and earn achievements as a viewer and a streamer. And kind of the big selling point is, at least for their partners, there's like zero latency streaming. So, you know, on Twitch, when you ask a question in the chat, the streamer doesn't see it for 15, 20, 30 seconds or whatever. Just by default, like that's not even an option. You can optionally delay it even more, but just as the default performance on Beam, it's instantaneous. I was watching when Fultron was streaming over there. I like said hello or asked a question, and he like immediately responded. I'm like, this is weird. I feel like this is some sort of intrusion of privacy. How do you know about me? Not from 30 seconds in the past. So, yeah, that's like a big selling point. But basically, Microsoft acquired Beam for an undisclosed amount or terms to integrate into their Xbox Live department. And, you know, normally this is kind of like, oh, okay, company purchases small company, you know, startup, whatever thing. And I think Beam has only been around since the beginning of the year, 2016, January, February 2016, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's a little bit, and everybody's kind of positive, and it has a little bit of, it's kind of surged a bit of interest in Beam, and there's been a little bit more traffic there from what I've checked on occasionally. But it's a little bit, I'm perhaps a little bit more pessimistic about it, just because I've seen so many times these early startup web companies, web services, even little, you know, web utilities, just very specific things, very early in their development, get bought up by AOL or Yahoo or Google or here Microsoft, obviously, and it's instead of how you would imagine, say, something like Twitch. Twitch existed and grew a significant market share before being bought by Amazon. So Twitch was already established, as opposed to this Beam isn't really established. So you got to imagine Microsoft obviously is not buying any sort of user base, because they have no user base. If you go on Beam at any given time, the top streamers have maybe 59 viewers or something like that. That's the number one channel that's being viewed on Beam or whatever. And that's no reflection of the talent or anything. That's just the traffic to the site and the fact that Twitch has a monopoly. So you know that Microsoft hasn't bought them for its user base. for even its platform, because the platform isn't established. So you think, and also the fact that there have been no terms disclosed or values disclosed for the acquisition, I think it's probably simply a talent acquisition, since Beam is headquartered right there in Redmond as well. Just a talent acquisition, which, congratulations, bravo to the talent for getting hired by Microsoft, and a technology acquisition. So I'm not too optimistic about the future of Beam.Pro from this. And why do I care, you may ask? Well, because I would like for Twitch to have competition, because then that would force Twitch to improve. Once everybody heard about this Beam, based on this acquisition, having zero latency streaming, everybody started asking, hey, well, why can't Twitch do that? It's these sort of things. Competition breeds progression and improvement. I would like Twitch to have a competitor, just like I would like YouTube to have a competitor, but it does not have a competitor, and we can see the problems stemming from that as well. And you can already also see some problems stemming in Twitch from its monopolistic status. So yeah, that's a little bit concerning for me. So I'm kind of just saying this so that, like, 8 months from now, when Beam shuts down, I can be like, yeah, I told you so. I don't know who I'm telling so, but yeah, I've just seen this so many times in the past. There's the only example I can think of right now is there was this, before there was Twitch alerts, or not Twitch alerts. What the heck am I talking about? No, TweetDeck or any of these Twitter apps. There was this website called Brizzly. Brizzly, as far as I was aware, and I signed up for them, Brizzly were the first to use inline images and kind of do their nested replies, which now TweetDeck and Twitter is doing. The first to fully integrate built-in link shorteners. And this was all stuff, as an old Twitter user, these were all things you had to do manually. Like if you wanted to share a link and you didn't want to go over your 140 character limit, you had to go to some link shortener site, tiny URL, make your custom link, and then copy and paste it back to Twitter. Replies, you had to manually type in who you were replying to. You couldn't reply to a specific tweet. Retweets, you had to actually type RT and then copy and paste the tweet. This was all stuff that was integrated into Brizzly. But then early on, Brizzly was purchased by AOL. And they had I'm saying this because they had almost to a T the exact same letter to their users that Beam.Pro recently published on the acquisition of Microsoft. Oh, this is an exciting time. We're looking forward to the future and being integrated with this team and having more access to provide this service and improving our service and technology in the future. Very similar. And then 2 or 3 months went by and noticed that no, there haven't really been any new features added to Brizzly here. There really hasn't been anything new. 3-4 months later, there's all these bugs that we're noticing, and they're not responding to them being fixed. We're not hearing anything from the people who worked at Brizzly. And then, sure enough, 5, 6, I can't remember how many months. It was months later, maybe 9 months at the most. Well, Brizzly's shutting down. Thank you for all your support throughout the years. And it's just like, oh, but this, TweetDeck, I don't even think existed yet, or it was just kind of, or it was only the desktop app. You couldn't get it on the web app, and it's just, there was no good replacement. And it's like, obviously started to be suspicious of that, and I think I probably even found a replacement when I realized that none of the bugs in Brizzly were being updated. So I'm curious. I'll be watching what happens. I'll be watching you what happens to Beam. I hope that's not what's going to happen, because like I said, I want there to be competition. I was almost a little bit, I really hadn't heard that too much about Beam, but then I signed up for Twitch, and I upgraded my partnership I renewed my partnership so I could get that sub button. I kind of almost wish I had considered Beam as well, because then I could have been the top streamer on Beam. No, none of you guys would have followed me to Beam. What am I kidding? So, I mean, I kind of wish I had kind of checked out their system and their partnerships or whatever prior to doing that, to have that competition. Not only competition for the viewers, but competition and options for the streamers and talent. But I didn't, and so now I'm locked in with Twitch regardless, so I can't really do much myself to support Beam. But yeah, it's just all the language in the letters, the fact that they're being integrated into the Xbox team, and yeah, I could see them integrating these systems or technology, or at least just using the talent to integrate some sort of capture or live stream integration into Xbox and Xbox Live. But I do not foresee Microsoft. You know, Microsoft isn't in the business of buying companies and then investing in them to make them great. They're just interested in buying already great services or companies and then just reaping the profits. Obviously, it's that's the way I see it. You know, it's similar. If you look at it, the way Google bought YouTube, YouTube was already kind of established, so it had that going for it. But when Google bought YouTube, they also had their Google Video, and they kind of tried to replace YouTube with Google Video. They were really pushing Google Video for a while until they realized that the people who were used to YouTube, and then YouTube started to grow as far as its user base and people uploading there, they simply abandoned Google Video instead. But had it been a little bit different, I could have very, very easily foreseen that they would have just taken the talent and the technology from YouTube and turned it into Google Video. And then it would have been integrated with Google Plus too, and they would have taken down Google Reader, and everybody still would have been upset. Oh man. So yeah, like I said, I'm no business person. I don't know contract law or anything like that, and I'm sure there's just as many anecdotal stories that you could reply with about companies being bought by bigger companies and them not being shut down as I can come up with the otherwise. So yeah, hopefully things are not as I foresee. I foresee going to sleep and continuing in the morning. And awakeness. And awakeness indeed. And continuing on this, let's feed Wolfiness here, why don't we? Hey, you. Boop. Oh, I need to fill up my water buckets. Boop. Boop. Nice. And let's make some torches while we're at it as well. I was a little bit worried I was going to run out in that zombie spawner. Let's grab a little bit of more of this woodsy stuff. And let's answer some questions. Answer some questions from donors to our Child's Play charity fundraiser. First of all, a little bit of a shout out to Emily for your generous donation to Child's Play charity. Emily said that they wanted a shout out but didn't have a question. So you're getting a shout out regardless, even without a question, for your generous donation. Emily, thank you very much for your assistance and support and for being an awesome Farlander. On the other hand, this person, Cone, with their donation asked, great job in Sweden. That E30 sure is a great drive. This is in reference to Conelanders. We've got a dirt rally league, and the previous event was in Sweden, snowy Sweden, and the BMW E30, to which I drove to great success, but did not record. I just drove for fun. Played a video game for fun. What is this? Yeah, I just played and I didn't record. That's probably why I did so well. I think I ended up in 5th. I was 1/10 of a second behind the guy in 4th, and I know exactly where I lost that 1/10 of a second. There was like a right 3 past the junction, but I misheard that, and I thought the left junction was the turn and not the right 3, so I kind of did a little fake out and screw up there. Dang it! So yeah, I think that's the first time I finished in the top 10, certainly in the top 5 in a Conelanders League dirt rally race, and that was I even finished better than Cone Dodger there. He was driving a different car on a bet. because it was a much more difficult car to drive, so we don't need to pay attention to that. But yeah, I'm beside myself that I didn't record that, but I think I did so well because I wasn't distracted with recording and making commentary. Cone continues. Does it give you an inspiration to add one of those to your classic car bucket list, the BMW E30? I do like the old BMWs. I do like the old BMWs indeed. There was what was it? One of those car YouTube channels, Petrolicious. Petrolicious. They did a story on somebody's BMW, but it wasn't an E30, and it wasn't an M car either. But it was just like a quirky, like rare car that really nobody wants because it isn't either of those cars. I can't remember what it was, but I mean those seem really cool. Although I imagine, I could be wrong, but I imagine maintenance on 30 or 20-year-old German vehicles is probably not too easy to come by parts and fixes and things like that. But yeah, I do like I appreciate those. But that seems like more of an advanced bucket list car than say a little bit something easier to find parts for, which also Cone continues on. What is it about the Z's that really drew your attention? Well, I've got this screwy friend from across the country who decided to introduce the Z cars to me. He's talking about the Datsun 240, 260, 280 Z's, classic Japanese sports car, and yeah, I honestly hadn't considered them or even knew they existed before you introduced them to me, because I was talking about potential for getting a quote-unquote fun car, and that popped up, and it really, I don't know, it is, I guess, the fact that I don't see too many of them. I think in my time here in the last year and a half, I've only seen 2 on the road. Actually, 1 on the road. And last month I saw when I was driving by a garage, and like a mechanic's garage shop, and one of the doors was open and one was in the shop there. I was gonna be like, yoink, but yeah, I mean, I haven't seen too many. I haven't even sat in one. But I really like the look of them. It's kind of that, I apparently have an affinity for the sport coupe hatchback sports car, because I also mentioned I really liked the Porsche 944 look. It's that kind of just a classic look. Whenever I drew a sports car as a kid in my drawings, that's kind of the shape I would make. Although I'm starting to think that the Porsche, the 944, is a little bit too much 16 candles. Wasn't that the one, you know, kind of 80s teen movie? A little bit too much of that, but yeah, I mean, that's it. Just, they're affordable as well, you know, relatively speaking, for a decent one. That's always helpful. They're affordable. From what I hear and what everybody tells me, is that the mechanicals of them are very easy and reliable and easy to maintain, as opposed to the body. It's hard to find one that hasn't been rusted back into the earth, as opposed to, say, your Porsches or your German automobiles are perhaps a little bit more sketchy on the mechanical fronts. So I mean, yeah, all that stuff attracted me to them. I'm poking around some local Z clubs and Datsun clubs to see if they have any events or anything. Obviously, nobody does anything here in Phoenix in the summer because it's 110 degrees Fahrenheit out. But yeah, I've been poking around those to see if they'll have any events I'll pop by. But yeah, I've not really ever seen one up close or even sat in one. It very well may be that I sit in one for the first time and be like, nope, this is not for me at all. They are very small. I will say that they are very small, and that's a little bit off-putting for me with my 6'2" stature. And just in general, small cars make me a little bit worried, safety-wise, getting plowed over by a Escalade or something like that. But I'm still keeping them in mind. I'm still trolling the Craigslist forums, looking for any new ones popping up for sale or anything like that. But I'm even also, it's easy to consider like an entry-level fun car, just like an old Ford Falcon, you know, mid-60s or something like that. Like, really reluctantly, but I think classic car easy mode would definitely be an old Mustang, just because they are everywhere. I'm assuming parts and things are easy to find, you know, and you can find varying conditions of varying vehicles of varying cost, but I'm really not a Mustang guy, so I don't even think I want to delve into that. My real interest lies in the hot rods and the old 50s and before cars, but that seems a little bit advanced. That seems you either got to find one that's already really in good condition, and which means it's going to be expensive, or you got to be in the mood to do a full restoration, which I am not. I am not at all. But yeah, that's kind of my kind of interest in the Z cars, I suppose. But we'll see. I'm in no rush, and there's certainly going to be even more time to think about that in the future here. An anonymous donor asks, what is your favorite drama movie? I, like you, rarely have actual favorites, but one of my top picks is The Departed. The Departed is okay. The Departed is good. I mean, the kind of... Again, the easy answer would be like The Shawshank Redemption or something like that. Yeah, I don't know what my favorite drama movie would be. It's hard to even categorize movies into like drama and stuff. I actually don't need that many more pieces of wool, so we'll leave that be. Yeah, I'm trying to, and I've actually, this question has been here for a little bit. I've been trying to think of one. Like, if one popped into my head, I would have written it down, but nothing has popped into my head. The Departed was all right. Shawshank Redemption. Like, it's hard. Like, what is is Interstellar a drama? It's not my favorite movie at all. Is Lord of the Rings drama? There's dramatic elements. How do you fix things into those puzzle pieces? I don't know. So yeah, and I haven't been doing movies that much lately. I can recommend. I did see the recent Ghostbusters, the new Ghostbusters movie. That's just a good time. That's just a fun movie to go watch and enjoy movies, and that's kind of the way I'm leaning. I've already talked about this many times about how when I saw The Revenant, yeah, okay, Oscar-winning best movie, actor, director, whatever. But it just bummed me out, man. Like, I don't want to go to a place and watch a movie to be bummed out. So maybe I'm kind of focusing more on fantasy and action and comedy, more so than drama and sadness and struggle. More so. I don't know. So that's maybe another reason why I can't think of drama movie. I mean, also, well, I mean, like, what would you call, like, The Great Escape? You know, I'm trying to think of, like, classic. Is that considered drama? Is that because it's a war movie? Is that a different... Is there some action in there? Is, you know, suspense, thriller? I don't know. What do you call all these things? Categories. Nothing fits into a little tiny categorical box anymore. Can't figure it out. Speaking of boxes, let's place down our crafting table and make a couple beds here for the next episode. I want to remind everybody to head over to farlandsbus.com, click on that little donate button that's right there on the homepage to donate to Child's Play charity, helping us get to that $60,000 goal for Season 6. And then when we do that, we schedule and hold the FLoBathon celebration, when we finally find out how far we've walked by pressing F3. So I do appreciate the continued support for that, the continued support for Farlands Bust here in episode 601. My name is Kurt. Thanks so much for watching. I we'll see you next time. Yeah, I told you so.